happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant. I've got Gary Judge with me from Across the Park podcast, and we are coming to you from the Feathers, bottom of Harris Drive on Hawthorne Road. Community boozer, boss. I am a fully fledged local in here now. Great little boozer. Come and check it out over the weekend. There's live music on Fridays and Saturdays most weekends, and all your footies on. So get down to the Feathers. Big thanks to them for supporting us. Right, how are you?
Been better footy-wise, but generally I'm alright. Yeah.
You didn't take, didn't react to my my little Instagram story.
No, I didn't. No, I purposely didn't react. Didn't repost it. Absolutely not. Didn't bite. I might bite here. Like
I know he seems off air. He seemed a little bit tetchy when I joked about Everton. Our mate Paul Macker asked one of the questions was to ask Gary if Everton can still get relegated, and he didn't even laugh, Paul. So he's in one of those.
No, Paul, I'm going to be slagging you off in a minute, somebody. No, I'm fine with people. Obviously, I'm used to having the piss taken out of me for being Evertonian. I've been Evertonian long enough and thick enough in the skin, as you know. But I think you taking credit for claiming that you knew it was going to happen was what really done me head in.
I said, and I actually watched it back, obviously because I posted it. I said it wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wasn't what you said. You didn't say that. I pushed you to that point of saying you wouldn't surprise me. You were like giving it all like, Everton are going to get beat, blah, blah, blah. And it was like it was a done thing. It was backed up by blah, and you had nothing. And in the end, when I challenged you on it, you went, yeah, fair enough. I moved on. And then after you were like, I told you, It's it.
Anyway, before we get into footy, one thing I thought was interesting, our mate Neil, who also the pod, has brought a point. So this week was the US elections. Now, I don't care about British elections, never mind US, but obviously it is big news. Donald Trump getting in. And he made it impacts football and golf really, because straight away, first off, Rory McIlroy was kind of making headlines saying, like, this is good because Trump can help bring like living.
Trump's got good relations with the Saudis.
Yeah, and he likes a game of
golf. Yeah, he's got plenty of golf courses, hasn't he?
Exactly. So I think Rory straight away was making headlines saying happy days for Trump because he's going to try and bridge this gap between the PGA and Liv. That's a bit of a weird way to. I'm sure that's not the only thing, but
I mean, it's a bit of like an insensitive statement to me, isn't it? When there's obviously so much tension around the action,
a lot of
so many people, and the first thing he thinks of is, sound he's going to make a relationship between Liv and.
It'd make it easier to take money from the side.
Yeah. Basically, I can get paid more.
So that's how everyone sees politics, though, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, of course.
Who's going to benefit me the most? And for McIlroy, he's thinking, well, this benefits me the most.
And you know what? To a certain extent, fair play to him. Like, you know, everyone's. And look, I've been guilty of it. You know, I work in education. I've got to be careful at times. I can't be too opinionated about political stories. Maybe not as much in the US because we don't live in the US, but people do get affected a lot by it. You know.
Oh yeah.
Particularly, I mean, my wife's in retail and supplying and stuff, and she just said it's going to be a nightmare now for the next few weeks for me because America will be changing policies on import taxes and duties and this, that, and the other, and closing the gates on this country, opening the gates on that country, and they've got a lot of work that they have in the US. So
yeah, it does affect it. I mean, not near on the bloody, you know, big scale, but on my little Monzo account, have you seen you have like an investment account, and it's just gone up 3%. I'm assuming it's gone up something like to do with the political markets, maybe.
Well, yeah, the market's responding to the belief that Trump will.
I've got £103. I'm adding 100, so it's happy days. And then the other one who Neil made a good point was the World Cup and the Olympics are going to be on them, and he's going to be in charge. And said in the group chat this morning, I think Donald Trump could well have his Salt Bay moment, you know, and in Messi the World Cup in America. I mean, he's going to be all over it, isn't he?
Well, there couldn't be, from a PR point of view, there couldn't be a better time to be the
oh God, the whole world. Not that it's
president.
I mean, it is always anyway, isn't it? But the entire world.
It happens, isn't it? You'd say.
Yeah, of course.
Easy ones to go, yes, bang.
And I can just imagine him, all of the eyes of the world are going to be on America for the World Cup. And I just can't wait for some of his press conferences, you know, because Everton's always the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing we've ever seen. It's going to be the greatest match ever. It's going to be.
I can't wait for them to get smashed like 6-0 in the first game or something. And
if they go out to the group stages, that'll be brilliant.
It'll be like a USA 94 when someone gets shot getting off the plane or something. He'll lose.
Colombia, that one,
Yeah, Colombia, yeah. 94 or 90?
Yeah, 91. No, 94, yeah. The last thing I'll say on it as well, because I've seen everyone, like, you know, moaning about politics, and obviously we keep away from it. It is a sports show. But you know, if you look back, I was looking at something this morning. I think Barack Obama dropped, I think, on 1 year, 60,000 bombs in 1 year and was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Do you know what I mean? Clinton's been linked to having ties with Epstein. You know, Trump, everyone's saying he can't have Trump. It's like,
he's convicted.
Look who he's being, they're all just got the... Anyway.
No, I mean, you make a good point, and coming in, you know, you touch on UK politics. I mean, Rishi Sunak and his family are hardly whiter than white, are they?
Exactly.
So,
if you look deep enough, they're all going to be something wrong with them. So, yeah. Anyway, at least Rory's happy. That's the main.
Oh yeah, of course. That's, you know, a sports show, and you know, our most successful, the most successful British golfer, and the latest generation is happy. So
he's benefited. Yeah. Right. We'll get on to football then. Fucking Reds are flying, aren't they? Like, the Reds are flying.
Yeah, he's doing well, yeah.
Could you have foreseen this? I mean, I couldn't. I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. You look back and you go, well, actually, this is a team that 2 years ago nearly won the quadruple. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bad team. We were 180 minutes away from doing the quadruple. We haven't lost that many players. All the foundations were there. So is it that surprising that a new manager's come in, hasn't changed that much, and we've still sustained a pretty good level? I mean,
I think like you shouldn't be surprised really, and like I said at the start of the season, certainly a few weeks ago, he's certainly come in with a fresh set of eyes, and he's clearly a good coach, isn't he? So you know he's set, you know, it's the best we've seen Curtis Jones playing. It's the best we've seen Gravenberch playing. So although you've had the likes of Roberts who maybe slipped a little bit, maybe it's that the level of the other players has gone up a little bit, and obviously there's a different system, and certain players are thriving in that system. So sometimes, again, whether it's football or just business in general, someone coming in and seeing certain things in the players or people that other people haven't seen can give you the massive lift, can't it, as a team?
Yeah, it's a great point. And on that, I think one little clever win that he's maybe got, and listen, this might be just me and a stupid opinion I've got, but I think one thing he's done maybe to get into the older players as well is the one notable change from, if you like, off the field, what I've heard, is he's allowing the players, I think I mentioned it last week, he's allowing the players to stay in their own home before a match, whereas I think they used to stay in a hotel the night before.
Oh, she's hotel.
Now, if you're like I don't know, in your 30s, or a wife and kids or whatever, and you're having to stay, you're getting an extra night at home, your missus is a bit happier, you're a bit happier.
You should put Robinson back in the hotel, isn't he?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Getting too much action the night before the game.
Could be that, lad. Knackered. But I just think so. It's just a little small win that he's got to keep people on side, especially the older players.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon that was been the thing he was most conscious of. I'm pretty sure he'd have backed himself tactically. As I say, I'm sure he'd have backed himself to improve some of the players in different ways. But the psychology side of it is obviously something that Klopp was, you know, renowned for in terms of being that, you know, the big hugs and all that. He's probably think, that's not me. What else can I do? What other edge can I put on my management style just to get the players on side? And, you know,
if he sat with Virgil, and Virgil said, look, you know what, some of the players moan a little bit that they're not, you know, getting to stay in their own bed or whatever.
No, love stuff like
do that. So fair play to him. What I also think's a bit mad as well, we seem to go behind it. Well, we have gone behind a couple of times. Or even if we haven't gone behind and it's been 0-0 at half time, the second half we've come out.
You start really slow, I think. Yeah. Really slow. Which whether it's slow or whether it's a pit, it must be a pit, like a, you know, something that's intentional. Where it's a bit like, I think the way you'd compare it's like two boxes, isn't it? Under Klopp, you were like, right out the gates, boom, first round. This seems to be like a boxer that takes us the time, the first round, second round, weighs up the opponents, and then suddenly it's bang, bang, because it's quick goals, isn't it?
I remember like a Liam Smith type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember Bellew.
Take some punches, let's see what they've got. Is that all you've got? Sounds, I know where to attack, you know.
Bellew compared Usyk like that. He said kind of for 5 or 6 rounds, I thought, you know what, this is all right, this. And then Usyk he was just using those first 6 rounds as a bit of a blueprint how to beat him. And in a weird way, that's what he's doing. He's kind of watching them, and then whatever he must say at half time, a tactical switch, whatever. Like you said, you've got that in them to then just put 2 or 3 goals. Again, quite quick.
If you know as a player, this is the plan, it gives you that degree of comfort, doesn't it? You know the way you've said a few times, they don't seem to panic, doesn't seem to have urgency. If they know that's the plan and they're saying, look, from time to time we're going to concede first, I'm okay with that. Because over the 90 minutes, we will generally win more games than not. And there must be, that's a hard thing to convince players, by the way. All right. I'm not saying he's saying, let's go behind on purpose, but to get players to go from where they were when they've been so successful anyway, to a completely different way of approaching it, and then getting them to buy in so fast is
it's
definitely
almost like
tune.
if we can just get in to half time at least level, at least 0-0. If we nick a goal, great. If we try not to concede, but if we go in level, don't worry.
We've worked them all out now. Yeah,
I've got a plan.
Give me 20 minutes to work out where their flaws are. I'll watch it. Blah blah. We'll give you something at half time, and you'll just take them.
And that, like you say, that takes a lot of confidence in a manager to have the players buy into that. But
Like the videos of Messi just walking around for the first part of the game, just seeing where those gaps are. It's similar to that. It's like, I'm not going to impose myself too much on this game yet because I need to see what they're doing first, so then I can capitalise on whatever their little chinks in the armour.
Honestly, how it can be most effective.
Yeah.
we saw it twice in 1 week. You know, we go behind to Brighton, not ideal. Come back, blow them away in the second half, and then Leverkusen was the best atmosphere of the season for me so far. First half, you know, they had that disallowed goal, and then second half, I think just absolutely blew them. And this is a Leverkusen team, right? You could say, they're not as good as last season. They played in a league last season, though, that Bayern Munich are one of the favourites for the Champions League. They beat Bayern Munich a couple of times. They've only lost twice in about 80 games. You know, this is a team that they've done the treble. Oh no, it was the double, wasn't it, in the end? They got beaten in the Europa League final.
Yeah,
this
to smash them.
This is a quality team that we've just beat 4-0. I mean, when you say Leverkusen, it doesn't sound like Madrid, does it? Or, you know, one of the Barças, or, you know what I mean, PSGs. But no, make no mistake about it. Leverkusen were a quality team last season.
That was an eye-catching fixture, probably the most eye-catching fixture of the round, if you like. This round of fixtures is Liverpool, Leverkusen. They're probably going to go toe-to-toe. Two coaches who are obviously having themselves, who have got a high stock. So yeah, it was definitely a fixture I think most people expected to be really competitive, and I guess you could argue up to a point it was, but again, going back to the point around the game plan, arguably your most comfortable victory of the season.
I know. One thing as well, and I forgot your mate's name, reminded me of him when we were out the other week, and he was just not having Salah. You need to give me his number so I can text him.
Can't remember.
When we went down to Marine.
Terry,
fucking hell, give me his number after this. His mate was basically saying, I'd let Salah go. He's nowhere near the player he was. He's fell off, he's on a decline. Get him to go and watch these last two games. Once he had how many assists? I think
he does go the games through the scene.
He's had 3 or 4 assists, I think, a couple of goals.
He's been
he's
again another
fire.
A player, arguably. I mean, is he better than he was last season in terms of his current form? Like, he may not be scoring as many goals, but his contribution, and is he actually a better player now than he was last season?
Well, on Wednesday he scored. Let's see where he is on the top goal scorers. He's got 7 goals and 5 assists.
12 goal contributions is best than anyone else in the Premier.
There you go, yeah.
Equal with Cole Palmer.
So, and then that's not counting the Champions League. So it's like he's been unreal, like absolute. Just and again, you mentioned before Curtis Jones. How good is he playing?
Absolutely made up for him, because again, he's a very Marmite type of player. Anyway, you'll know better than me that your fans probably either like him or dislike him or whatever. But he's a particular player, and I think, again, he's definitely one of them players I would without doubt say that Arne Slot's probably walked in, seen him in training and thought, I can make something.
Yeah, there's a
going to
player
have to
there.
play here.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do this specific job, because that's he's not, and this is not a criticism, he's not particularly versatile. You can't just go, you play there, play there, play there. He wants the game to be at a certain tempo. He wants to be playing in a certain position. He wants to be combined. So you do have to be, I think, quite, I wouldn't say building a team around him, but to a certain extent, you almost have, like, in terms of the ways of playing at the moment.
I didn't know he had those assists in his locker.
He's always been an extremely creative player. But again, it's you know, it's just a reflection of the style of football, isn't it? That I think really suits him. I think that the movements of the forwards is suiting him. The pockets he's picking up, the space he's getting. But yeah, made up for him.
So anyway, next up, 8 o'clock, Villa. I think Saturday night, it's going to be bouncing Anfield, especially if Man City don't get anything from Brighton at 5:30. I mean, that could be a really tasty game.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to come on to something in a minute, but I'll wait until we speak about the game. Yeah, Villa, I mean, I don't think there could be a better time to play Villa. They look on their arses at the moment, physically.
Yeah.
I'm not getting me wrong, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game, but I watched the game last night, and obviously we'll touch on the Tyrone Mings thing in a bit. But they just look a team that that are really struggling physically with the demands of so many games.
They've lost the last 3 and they haven't won in the last 4. So, yeah, they lost the last 3 and then they drew against Bournemouth as well. So they're definitely not... We're playing them at the right time. So I can't wait for that. The only other thing I was going to mention on Liverpool is, again, it keeps rearing its head, is the contract situation with Salah, Trent and Burge. So I was at an event on Saturday in the Titanic, Football for Change. Trent come straight after the Brighton game and Cara done a little Q&A with him and was told, do not ask him anything about this contract situation. Now, knowing Jamie Carragher, the way you see him on telly, he's quite, joking and jovial and all that. I thought he'd be a bit cheeky and say,
Maybe a little sly.
And at the end, he kind of nearly did. He went, right, so he went, it's the elephant in the room, everyone's thinking it. I've been told not to ask you, but you know me, I'm going to do it. And I'm thinking, and then he said, who's your favourite, me or Gary Neville? Do you know what I mean? And but I just thought it was really interesting because the way Jamie is on telly and that, and he's quite jokey and that, you thought he might be a bit cheeky and ask him. But he was told, under no circumstances are you allowed to ask him. So I think he is gone. I am happy to take bets with people that he is gone. And it's a win-win for me because if he goes, then I'll win me money. And if he stays, we're keeping Trent. So it'd be a bit of a win-win, but I just can't see him staying. I think he's...
I can't remember which way.
Gone.
I can't remember which way it went. When we were doing that vote the other week, can't even remember which one I said. You'd be better losing. I might have said Van Dijk. Would be the best
said Trent. You said Trent.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Because I've used your arguments because I think it was a great
both
argument.
ends of the pitch and stuff.
Well, your argument was name a team that's won titles that you build around right back. I think that's a great line, and it's so true. Whereas, you look at Salah, if he's anything like Ronaldo, he could play for another 3 or 4 years. You look at Virgil in his position, I think he could play for another 2, 3, 4 years. So, if we were going to get money for him, yeah, I'd happy to let Trent go. But obviously, I'd rather keep him. And the last thing, is Salah's cryptic message on Instagram. He was just like,
whatever.
If this is the last time it is, I'll never forget this feeling or whatever. It's I'd be gutted if he goes because I think he's the level he's at. He's too good for the Saudi League. Okay, so if he doesn't go there, what's he doing? Going to Madrid or is he going to PSG? How horrible will it be if Madrid sign all 2 out of 3 of them, all on frees, lad? Which they essentially could do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They could just give them all 30. They could spend 100 million, give them all 33 million quid each signing on bonuses. There you go, just have that.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
It's just a joke.
They literally could do that.
Code.
Anyway,
how much that squad's going to be worth? Yeah, just before we move on past Liverpool, obviously again I've gave you plenty of credit there. I think if you were to say to me at the start of the season, Liverpool are going to fly out the blocks as they are. They're going to do okay. You know what I mean? They're going to be like it's not going to be easy as step. They're going to lose a few, blah blah. The fans are going to be patient with them and whatever, or they're going to have a stinker and absolutely fucking bomb. Obviously, I'd prefer the latter. But out of the other two, I think I prefer you're doing what you're doing now, because I think an okay start means that your expectations are and a reset. You're okay, you know what, if we get something out of this, like you were talking like this, it starts like, maybe we finish 6th, blah, 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 it's fine, it's a rebuilding process. Now, you're like, boom, we're going to win the Champions League.
And you're just
win the league.
Drop off now.
Can't wait. Now, listen, I could be sitting here with egg on my face, and I'm like I said at the start, I'm used to sitting here with egg on my face because I'm an Evertonian, but these are the little bits of joy that we get every now and again.
Seeing Red's expectations.
Yeah,
it's just
the expectations rise, and then you go, and then you start going, you know what? Still low. It's still a great season, but I know deep down, you're all like getting really giddy and really excited, as you are in the show. So I thought I'd let you just keep going here.
But that comes down to that argument I made ages ago, wasn't it? It's like better to have loved and lost than never to have loved before. To go on that ride, do you know what I mean? And give those memories. Do you know what I mean? So
no, it's fair.
I'm here for the Arnie Slot ride.
Okay.
But it's good to know that you're waiting on our demise, though. That's
I have to know. And again, look, I'm here to be shot at. If there's no demise, I won't be in this country. Don't get me wrong. But at some point when you get me, you can remind me of the fact that I was waiting for you to fail, and maybe you didn't.
Well, let's talk about someone who is failing, and that's Sean Dyche. I come on here some weeks, and I'm like, lad, yous are fucked. Yous are going down. And then a week or two later, I'm like, I know you've turned it around. And then it's like, yous are fucked again. And I know it's like become a bit of a joke now, like Evertonians go, but it's like you are like up and down, aren't you? Just constantly with it. It's mad.
Yeah, and you mentioned the manager first, and that's almost been his trademark. The up and down thing, not up and down in terms of leagues, but he has patches where his teams look really strong and they can't concede, and they've got, they're scoring from set pieces, this, that, and the other, and then he has patches where they can't win a game for love nor money. They lose games. He's never been a manager that just has like, okay, win, draw, lose throughout the season. It's
like losing streaks and
yeah. And I could come up with maybe plenty of explanations as to why that might be the case. I think the stuff it says at the start of the season is, for me, almost fact. I think his pre-seasons are so hard and so tough. I mean, I walked in there this morning and you were like, "Are you all right?" I'm really sore from the gym. We've got players coming into games like that at the start of the season because they're so done in from his pre-seasons now.
Well, that's interesting. We had Trust Surveyors asked the question on Instagram. They said, why does Dyche contradict himself, saying that people need to be match fit, but then he rushes McNeil back as he got favourites in a sense? And it's similar to kind of the point you're making about the fitness levels and stuff. It's like, how can he expect players when he's given them such a hard pre-season, but then it's like you say, there's no consistency with it maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was led to believe that McNeil has a knock. From my understanding and knowing a few people in the sports science team at Everton, he's very particular on muscular injuries in terms of like not pushing them and stuff and making sure that the tissue's repaired and that they're ready to go. And he wants players on the pitch that he can push 110% and they can't have any excuses for chasing back and all that. I think McNeil's a knock. And again, anyone who's played footy at any level knows that there's a difference between having a sore knee or a sore shin and your hamstring being tight. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of double standards when it comes to Sean Dyche. I do actually think with the injuries, he's got a pretty firm line on it, and it's like muscular. You're not coming near the team until you're 100%. And you've seen that with Jared Brandwaite. You've seen it with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Again, it's one of the things I've given him a lot of credit for. I've never seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin this fit. He's crap, but he's fit. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that I actually. I wouldn't be too critical of Sean Dyche in terms of how fit he's generally kept the squad. But going back to the general perception of Dyche now, that I've said this a few times now, there's no two ways about it. He doesn't survive beyond this season anyway. I think he's gone at the end of the season, come what may. However, I think if the new owners come in before the January transfer window, he could now go before then. I think the type of owners they seem to be, and a lot of new owners like that, they want to make a statement, don't they? And they want to go, right, boom, we're going to set our stall out. I think they'll have been on the fence a little bit, but if you're on social media, and obviously their PR teams will be, I think you're reading the room now and thinking there'll be no better way of announcing ourselves than sacking him. And he's not on a particularly lucrative contract. His contract, I think, runs only to whatever next January. Might even.
Is there not a feel though? That type of manager is almost like the kind of in the mould of Sam Allardyce, one of those like, break glass in case of emergency. If he's your type of manager, who do you get when the emergency glass breaking situation doesn't work?
I mean, look, I know you're going to pull me into this one, and I know we've got a question from Maka about it, or a bit of a rod from Maka, more like still, and again, you can call me whatever the optimist you want, but the league table doesn't lie still. Still don't think there's any genuine. Look, there's always a concern. So his question, you might as well ask it now. The question
he just said, "Can you still get relegated?"
Of course, we can get relegated. We were down there. Do you know what I mean? But I think we're what are we? 6 points, 5 points clear of the relegation zone.
4 points.
4 points.
Quickly went from 6 to 5 for 4.
5 to 4. I mean, we're more than. I mean, the thing with being 4 points away from that bottom three, you need one of those teams to win 2 games in the bounce and us to lose 2 games in the bounce. I'm not saying it's beyond question, but out of those bottom 3, one of them hasn't won yet, and the other 2 have only won 1. So you're counting on teams to win 2 games on the bounce.
If you look at the 10 games, right, so quarter of the season gone, 9, 18, 27, 36.
We're getting to 40 points, aren't we, on the current?
Well, you're into 36. We're less than 36. You played 10 games. There's a 40-game season, 38-game season, a bit less than 40.
And do you know how many times the team with 36 points has gone down the last 10 seasons?
I know last season was a bit different, well, actually.
Do you know how many the team with 36 points has gone down the last 10 seasons? Once. 40 points used to be the golden target now. 36 points in seasons when there's been competitive teams is more than enough.
But you're getting less than that at the moment, at this current trajectory.
You're 36 points.
You're getting less than 36 points, yeah.
Yeah, look, again...
On this current trajectory, you'd be on
this current trajectory, Ipswich, Southampton and Wolves are getting a hell of a lot less than us.
True.
It's true. Again, like, whatever you throw at me, I'm not gonna wilt on the fact that, of course, we can get relegated. Of course, if you keep losing games, you're going to be in danger of being relegated. On the current trajectory of our form versus others, we don't get relegated.
True.
The recent form hasn't been bad.
I just think...
And sorry, just before we go past it, the performance at Southampton, because this is obviously where this whole conversation's come from, because that was the most recent game, wasn't a great performance. But if that header from Beto goes in, which 99 times out of 100 it should do, then you're talking about a decent win, 1-0 away at Southampton. There's no way Southampton recover from 1-0 at that stage, given their records in recent games as well. And you're like, okay, you know, it wouldn't be a performance to be loser, but it's another 3 points. Again, I'm not giving excuses for that. It was a poor performance. We should have been out of sight before Southampton scored. But you've got to have a degree of sympathy when one of your forwards misses from 3 yards.
No, I get it. I know. I think the only thing going on that, though, where you find yourselves... So the teams below you are Wolves, Southampton, Ipswich and Crystal Palace. Now, Southampton and Ipswich are the 2 teams that got promoted. So you'd expect to see them down there. The other 2 teams that are maybe a bit of a surprise are Palace and Wolves. Now, Palace have got a lot of quality in the team.
I think Wolves are a surprise to be down there, mate.
Look at the teams.
I predicted them to be just above the relegation zone. Maybe, I think you might have predicted them to go down.
I might have done, but when I look at the games, they played Villa, you'd expect them to get beat. Liverpool, you'd expect them to get beat. Brentford, tough game away. Expect them to possibly get beat. They played City. Then they've got a draw against Brighton and Palace. They've had some tough games. They've had some really tough games, and they've been unlucky in some of them as well. I think on the VAR count, something it's like a crazy stat about like decisions not going their way. They've been a tad unlucky. And Palace, a bit of a mad season. I didn't expect them to be anywhere down there. I thought they'd be doing all right with them.
I think Palace will improve. I think Palace will improve. I've said to you a few times, there's a lot of players.
Well, that's my point then. So if you think
5 games before,
if you think Palace might improve, no, but the below you, if you think they might improve, and I think Wolves have been a tad unlucky.
I think Leicester will get worse. Personally, I think Leicester have overperformed so far. And from my point of view and my expectations, I think we're best. I think we're better than Leicester. And I think we'll eventually finish above Leicester, and I think we'll absolutely finish above, despite the results the weekends, Southampton and Ipswich. Wolves maybe do improve. I think they've had a tough run of fixtures, but
so this white marker's kind of fishing. You still think you're all right?
Yeah, absolutely. I listen. I'm not happy again to go back to it. I think if the new owners come in and made the change, you know, there was rumours, as there always is rumours when you have a bad result and stuff. There was rumours that some of the players are kind of turned on him now. I'm like, look, he needs to go. Otherwise, we're not signing new contracts. I think it's obvious who those players are. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin's probably gone anyway, but he'll be one of them who's not happy, getting hooked quite regularly, not playing well, and not enjoying the style of football. Brandtwaite's been sitting on the bench for 3 or 4 weeks behind Michael Keane. And Jesper Lindstrom, who he brought in, hates him, you can tell. I've spoken to him a few times when he's done an early dash from the ground, and where the players' park is in the park end. And I've kind of collared him a few times, and the comments he's made have just been mad.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of players who are probably not enjoying the style of football and would happily see him go. And again, I would welcome a change. Don't get me wrong, I've said, and I don't want to contradict myself, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to keep him to the end of the season. I don't think, as you said, how would you press the emergency glass or smash the emergency glass when you've already got someone in that ilk. So I think just keeping it to the end of the season and not making too many changes and then trying to set ourselves up for the summer is the best thing to do. But
I think the next few weeks going to be mad. I didn't realise there's only this weekend's game and then there's an international break. You got West Ham away.
The next 2 fixtures, I mean, 3 out of the next 4 fixtures are very winnable. I think the Man United one with the new manager is going to be tough at Old Trafford.
Yeah, but even that though, sorry on this though, there's West Ham away, which I think West Ham made a mistake, sacking Moyes. But anyway, they got this new manager in. I think a draw. Then there's the international break, but then this is the concerning bit. You come back into the end of November, you've got Brentford, Man United, Wolves.
Stop. All right, you're going to list those last few. Brentford's let's go back. West Ham, Brentford's, Man United, Wolves. Being the person you are, and you're going to... How many points do you think we get from them?
I think one at West Ham. It could be Brentford, sorry, for nothing against United.
Wolves at home.
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one, isn't it? Because that's going to be... If Wolves, like we've just said, potentially have been a bit unlucky and start playing well, it could be...
Do you think Wolves at home is trickier than Brentford at home? I think Brentford at home is trickier than that. We've got a good record against Brentford at home, to be fair.
Yeah. I'd say out of them, maybe 5 points you might pick up out of 4.
I think we get 6 points out of them games. As in, I think you could maybe get a surprise win at West Ham. You could maybe lose one of the other 2 games if things go one way or the other. If we get 6 points out of them games, even going into that run of fixtures, I think 6 points out of those games and losing most of those games over the Christmas period will still see us outside of the relegation zone.
It is an unlucky run of fixtures. You've got Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City.
I don't buy into that, to be honest. Like an unlucky run of fixtures, because you've got to play them, haven't you? You could say you said Wolves about an unlucky run of fixtures. You've got to play them. I would sooner rather play them in a period together. And over Christmas, you're going to get some mad results as you do anyway, and a bit of fatigue kicking in. So it is what it is.
Just going back onto the fixtures, I remember speaking a few weeks back, and it was just before the international break, and Alisson got injured. Harvey Elliott was injured. Chiesa was injured. Jota was injured.
And where is he, by the way, Chiesa?
I said tonight he's given Aquilani vibes, and that is all he's done since he's turned up. But my point is, though, just going back onto one of our fixture congestion, before the last international, Alisson was injured. I think Jota got injured at Chelsea. Ellie was injured. Chiesa's injured.
Jones was injured at the time.
Jones was injured. And you looked at the fixtures and we had Chelsea, Leipzig, Arsenal, Brighton, Leverkusen, and Villa. And you're thinking, fucking hell, all these injuries. And we beat everyone apart from Arsenal. You're thinking, wow. So sometimes it does, yeah.
If you've got all those fixtures that you're going to have around the December period as well, the chances are you're going to be setting up very similarly for those games. Yeah, so you're not going to be having like different methods of playing, going from one to another.
Preparation isn't as,
it should be more of the same if you're doing well or whatever.
Yeah.
So other teams in the Prem that maybe surprised a few people. Man City lost. I didn't realise lost the last 3 games. How often does that happen? Rodri's obviously out for the season. Kevin De Bruyne apparently was on the bench, so he's coming back.
A little bit, isn't he?
Haaland's missing penalties.
Since I put him in my fantasy, he's staying.
Yeah. And I just briefly wanted to talk about. Do you think there's anything in these kind of looming allegations? Pep potentially leaving. At the end of the season, I don't know. Do you think there's anything in any of that, or do you just think it's just a bit of bad form that teams go through, or do you think there's anything a bit more in it?
Could be. Don't know. I would usually, in the case of Man City, say no. It's just a bit of a blip, but it has been a more unsettled period for the club. There's no 2 ways about that. There's been people leaving, that you wouldn't normally expect to leave. The manager hasn't exactly been really definitive about where his future lies. I honestly think that they'll be a little bit upset that United have brought Amorim in.
I can't say it, yeah. Amorim.
I think City will be a little bit upset by that because they probably thought there's a pretty ready-made replacement there. Now, I don't think we'll come on to it. Maybe I don't think he's the best fit for United, but he's a top coach, a top manager. So I think that's probably been a little bit ooh. So I don't know.
Do you think they're a bit annoyed? The hierarchy at City are a bit annoyed at Pep. It's a bit like the loyalty we've given. Like they've cooked the books on his behalf to give him the best resources in the world, and now they're getting a bit of flack. It's a bit like, come on, show us some loyalty and sign a contract. Come out and publicly say that you're with us. And he's kind of went, do you know what? I might go at the end of the season. I don't know you. And it's a bit like
I don't know if some of the hierarchy have looked at the whole Klopp thing and thought, you know what, maybe it is time. They have got, to a certain extent, and forgetting about FFP for a minute, they have got pretty unlimited resources. If they could have their pick of coaches and start afresh and whatever, I don't think there's ever a good time to lose a manager like Pep or Klopp or whatever, but I think some of them might be looking at going, might not be the worst time this, while there's other teams in transition, I don't know. But I definitely think there's something in them being a little bit unsettled, and maybe the players getting wind of that. And I don't think the managers helped it. So you're right. I think maybe the manager could have made more effort to stabilise things and just to settle the ship a little bit, or steady the ship. But there's some seems a miss to me. Yeah.
I think one of the good things about it, for as a Liverpool fan, is that normally you'd watch City and go, well, they'll probably win anyway, when you're watching them go behind. Whereas for the players, we were on the pitch, they're going, shit, we haven't done that again.
Yeah.
Like, we've gone behind there and we haven't pulled it back. Like,
yeah, I mean, they did with didn't they, the other day when Stones scored? I mean, so they have still got that in the locker to do that, to get that late winner. But I know what you mean. It's not happening as often as.
And also as well, even though at the time it was like almost laws as they scored from a corner and that's not normally City. I always think that's a little bit of a concern. They haven't been their normal patient selves and cut the team open.
Yeah,
they had to do it by like a bit of a messy corner that was nearly disallowed, and I don't know, that isn't their style. I think they always just come back doing it their way. Now they're lumping balls into the box to try and get the centre half to score a scruffy goal. I don't know.
And on another rival then as well, Arsenal, I think they've got beat the last twice, it might be, I think. Edu is leaving, who's been lauded as being like almost a bit like Edmonds for Liverpool. You know, getting all these players in great deals, getting the deals over the line, shipping players out when they're not needed.
I think there's more a concern there than there is with... And you look at the team last night and the squad looks threadbare.
Yeah. Well, Odegaard's made the bench last night, so maybe he's...
The old bench look really weak.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know how strong the kids are, because I don't think he's really ever gave any of them kids much of a chance, apart from the odd 10 minutes. So you don't really know how much depth they've got in the young players, but I think there was only 3 or 4 players that are recognised on that bench last night.
Mm. And you know what's interesting as well? The way Liverpool, that kind of... Everyone spoke by that the first trophy, the Champions League, that kind of set everyone off. We've done it now. Arsenal haven't got that. You forget Arteta's been there, I think, 5 years. And it is mad, all this thing about Arteta, how great he is. He's been there 5 years now. He's still not won anything. You know, everyone was slagging Ten Hag, and maybe rightly so, but he's won 2 trophies in 3 years, was it? Arteta's been there 5 years. He's had a much better sporting director. He's brought in better players. He's been able to assemble a better squad, and yet he still hasn't won anything. I don't know whether they will.
It looks less likely this season than it did last season.
And here's an interesting one, talking about City slipping up, Arsenal slipping up. I wonder, or is this me just again, maybe it probably is being stupid, I wonder how Klopp would feel knowing that if he knew that Pep and City were going to have an off season, if he knew Arsenal were going to have a bit of a blip season, do you think he would have stayed? Do you think that maybe? And also, do you think, again, this sounds...
Yeah, 100% hard.
But it sounds like, listen, if Liverpool do go on and win the league, do you think there'd be a bit of a...
Klopp's legacy is a little bit...
Well, there's a few little things to this. Would it not ruin Klopp's legacy, but the fact that it took Klopp, 6 years and he's won 1. Slot comes in and wins 1 straight away. Wonder whether Klopp would be invited to kind of enjoy the parade because he never got to celebrate it last time. No, it's essentially his team.
Behave, imagine Arnie Slot going, yeah, come on, yeah,
I'm not saying
stand in the front of the bus.
I'm not saying lift the trophy with him, but I'm just thinking, do you think it'd be one of them where he'd be in the crowd? Like, he's had a big...
Be in the crowd, he can stand on Priory Road if he wants, but there's no way he's letting him on that bus.
I'm not saying on the bus, but do you not think, though, there is a bit of a, it's like, I don't know, you kind of do a deal with your mate or something, and the deal goes really, really fucking well for your mate.
But he didn't do the deal to bring Arnie Slot in.
I'm not saying that, but he's kind of said, look...
It's different with, the whole Alex Ferguson thing, with Alex Ferguson brings Davy Moyes in. If Davy Moyes would have won the league in his first season, I've no doubt that Alex Ferguson would be on that bus, because he pretty much interviewed Davy Moyes for the job.
Yeah.
Klopp kind of went on his own terms, and he absolutely milked the fucking living daylights out of it. There's no way that he deserves any more credit when a manager comes in, completely rips the style of play apart.
He hasn't completely ripped the style of play. He hasn't. Yes. He hasn't completely. He's made his tweaks and changes.
He hasn't completely ripped the style of play together.
It's the same team.
The full-backs don't attack the wings anymore. No, you don't play on the front foot from the first whistle. You've got players playing in different positions.
He's made, but he hasn't completely, he's not, I don't know, gone to a bloody, one lone striker or 3 at the back, or he hasn't mega.
Nobody does that though.
But I'm just saying, so he hasn't completely ripped it up. He's
No
made
team in the top 50 teams in Europe plays one man front.
But I'm just saying, he hasn't completely ripped it up. The
Yeah.
point is, as a Liverpool fan, then, Musk, how would you feel if Klopp is there, not on the pitch, not on the pitch? No, but I think.
God.
Would it be one of them? Would he be all right then? The way Stevie's there in Madrid when we were in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean?
That's different. That's just as a fan, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
That's fine. It can be on Priory Road, can't it? Like that. Waving with everyone standing on a bus stop or something.
I just think how he'd be. I don't think Klopp, the type of person he is, would take the invitation up anyway. He'd be very much the way you're thinking. Look, once your team.
I think consider he's sporting director for another club, it'd be inappropriate somewhat.
I just think it's an interesting. Yeah, and I wonder how he'd feel, because it is.
When was this wet dream?
I know. How would he feel though? Do you know what I mean? He'd obviously be buzzing, I think, but I think that
You know what he feels?
There'd be a bit of a
Testosterone injection.
I just think that there'd be a bit of him that thinks, fucking hell, that's, because he's seen the best of Pep. He's looking there thinking, City are off it this season.
I really don't know where this conversation's going, but it's an absolute
I was saying about it the other day after a pint.
wild dream.
Anyway,
It actually sounds like a nightmare to me, to be honest, to see.
Let's leave
Klopp
Liverpool.
comes back to then celebrate it again. Have another day for Klopp.
you ever got to celebrate it last time, did he? Anyway,
Oh, God.
on to United then. So they got the new man in, Amorim, and then he just almost gets every United fan horny by battering City. Was it 3-1 or 4-1? I just don't. It'd just be interesting to see if United fans are thinking, great, he's got Pep's number. He's going to do exactly what he's done with Sporting to us. I think it's a much bigger task than maybe he thinks. So,
And has there been on the same note, or not the same note, but has there been a better, more gradual rise to the top than Victor Gyökeres in the last 5 years? Absolutely.
I didn't realise his kind of history. Unbelievable. He's been and all that.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, do
you think he's going to be playing that?
close we were to signing him?
Really?
We were literally like...
Sheffield United he was at, was it?
No, Coventry.
So
we had agreed a fee, but it was contingent on James Rodriguez going to Porto to free up the wages for us to get him. James Rodriguez knocked back the move, so we lost out on him.
It's a bit Carlo's fault that then, isn't it, really?
It wasn't Carlo.
Yeah, but he brought Rodriguez in, didn't he? Yeah, I mean, be interesting to, if United fans are clearly excited by him, but I do think that they are so off it.
Night and day, like the squad, and I think a few like sport and stat websites have done like the suitability of Amorim to this current squad versus other managers. You're not even in the top 10 because of the style of football and the energy from the players and the physical stats and stuff. So it's going to be, I think he'll be shocked when he turns up and sees the nick that squad's in.
Yeah, and I think the players, almost the attitude in the players, if you've had a manager for a long time and then the manager gets sacked and a new one comes in, there's definitely going to be an attitude.
There'll be a bit of a bounce.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of a bounce, but I think if that's happened once, a new manager comes in, that's it. But this is a reoccurrence every couple of years, so it's not as if the players are mega shocked that someone's got sacked and someone else is coming in. It's a bit like, oh, again.
He's got to make some kind of statement, hasn't he, in terms of the player he drops or leaves out. And
Ten Hag done that though with Ronaldo.
I know he did, but I know what I mean.
He's got to do something to
you've got to back that up, haven't you? Then, and he didn't really back it up with results. So it was like you've got to do that, but then, and I think the obvious one, in my opinion, and it might be controversial, but the obvious one for me would be Fernandes. But he's Portuguese, and you'd imagine that maybe he's probably going to be one of the ones that.
And he's got it in him a little bit though, hasn't he? When he's scored the pen, big moments, he scores the pen to get them to put them in front against Chelsea. I think I agree, his attitude's not great, but he probably is one of the best players though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, but he's also one of the common threads throughout this period, which has been horrible.
Yeah,
for him.
True. And another team in a bit of crisis as well is Real Madrid. You know, more so why they might go for all three of them on a free, but like we mentioned last week, got beat in the El Clasico, beat again in the Champions. Oh no, did they draw in the Champions League? Was it last night?
No, they got beat.
They got beat, yeah. They're for last by Milan, 3-1. Poor Milan team as well. They don't even look like they might qualify. I'm sure they will, but the 18th.
I mean, again, I praised Ancelotti a few weeks ago for coming up with a bit of a system where he had, you know, the two up front as in Vinicius and Mbappe, but now obviously teams, there's not many teams, is there, in Europe that are playing 4-4-2, and there's a good reason for that. So I think the teams quickly went, oh, what, they're playing 4-4-2 with the Diamonds? We'll absolutely rip that apart, no problem, basics. So I think although he's found a way to get Mbappe and Vinicius playing together, the rest of the team's not suffering. You've got two players really who don't contribute off the ball, apart from maybe a little bit of tenacity from Vinicius. So
yeah, Belling,
he's got a real problem
off it as well.
He's got a real problem, I think, because there's just a lack of balance in the team, and it's all come from trying to shoehorn Mbappe in. And I think,
well, they're already 9 points off Barca. They've got a game in hand, and they've scored 19 goals less than Barca.
It's crazy, that.
After 11 games.
But you look at the difference between the two situations, like Hansi Flick and Ancelotti. Hansi Flick has not really brought any players in, and he's just been had the chance to just create a system that he wants around, you know, putting players wherever he wants. He's got this high line down to a T, which is ridiculous. I think they've now caught over 100 times it is. Last night they caught Red Star offside 9 times.
But at the other end, though, the last few games, 5-2, 3-1, 4-0, 4-0, 5-1, 3-0, 5-0. Like, they are.
But again, I mean, massive credit to Hansi Flick. But again, you've got one manager who's had limited resources, but he has a chance to play players where they want, little to no pressure. And then another manager who's had to try and find a system just for this one player or two players, arguably.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting what they do against transfers as well, whether it's someone like Salah, Trent or Virg, but yeah.
I mean, January though, is it?
No. And last little bits, yeah, a couple of controversies last night. You see Arteta on the side, picking up the ball when it wasn't even out of play. He's just always standing outside his technical box, isn't he? So much so that he wants to get involved in the play. Ends up getting a yellow card. And then the other mad one was Tyrone Mings picking up the ball. But it happened, didn't it, with City?
It's happened now.
Or was it Arsenal?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel got let off with it. It's happened 3 times in Germany and nothing's happened. So, I was speaking to someone this morning about it. I was like, one, I don't know why the other people haven't been penalised. But it's like the goal kicks in the last 3 or 4 years, I reckon, on a training ground have probably been the most worked on set piece.
It's all about playing out from the back.
Because they changed the rules. So it's almost going back to when they changed the back pass rules, and everyone had to learn, what do we do now? We were passing it back to the keeper, and what else can he do? So it's been a massive rule change that the most football fans have probably hated, because they're sitting there going, oh my God, they're passing it around the 6-yard box. And, you know, rightfully so, it's a risky tactic, but, you know, there's not many teams in the Premier League that don't do that now. So there's good reason for it. But you could see, Tyrone Mings has obviously been out injured for a while, but you could see that the way the Villa play out is they start with one of the centre-backs who passes it to the goalie, who then passes it to the other one. So that's their starting point. And it's almost like, I can imagine the coach or manager in training go, whoa, stop, it doesn't start there, it starts there, go again. So the goalie's almost broke that rule, passed it to Tyrone Mings. Tyrone Mings has read it as, this is where the ball starts, so I'm putting it down. But the goalies, the referees read it as...
Yeah. Just a massive fuck up on it, big lack of communication. The other question that would be then, where are you on the whole, the opposition team could have not scored the pen?
Behave. No, I think
you know, doing all the Canio sportsmanship and all that.
There's too much on the line for games to...
Way too much, yeah.
I don't know, we seen Canio do it, didn't we, when Everton's keeper went down?
Yeah, but that's a little bit different. I think my argument against that would be Tyrone Mings is a professional footballer. You can use your foot to control the ball.
Yeah.
Why don't you use your hands? There's not... It was a player, I think, who's been out injured for a while, is a little bit rusty mentally, is trying his best to just keep himself, you know, whatever, switched on and whatever. I think it must have been the 60th, 65th minute. He's probably quite tired at that point. And it's a lapse of concentration.
I do think there will have been players, though, saying to him, come on, bit unfair that, go on, just, you know, roll it to our keeper. I think there will have been Villa players asking him that.
No, I don't.
Just trying.
Ezri Konsa was he got interviewed after the game by Darren Bent, and he was on the telly. He looked a bit embarrassed by the whole thing. He was just like, I didn't see it, but he's handballed it. He actually said he's handballed it in the area. Should get a second yellow.
Yeah, and it's deliberate.
Yeah, it's deliberate handball. He should get a second yellow, which is obviously a bit of a mad statement to make, but he's right. I think what he's saying is there's double standards there. The referee believes he purposely handled the ball. He should be sent off.
Yeah, no, 100%. Anything else on footy?
No, I think I've had enough of footy. Thanks.
What I did want to touch on it was the rugby union. So I actually had a ticket and I had to give it up. My mate Ash got me a ticket to see the All Blacks against England at Twickenham at the weekend. Couldn't make it. Joe Marler, he's just retired from international rugby. He caused a bit of controversy beforehand, saying that like the hacker, really, do we still need to be doing that? Which caused a bit of uproar. And I just wanted to just touch up upon it really on like what you think of the hacker and all that. I'm fully here for it. Like I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of sporting's great things that if I was a professional rugby player, I would love to go up against the hacker. I love watching YouTube clips of it, all the mega fierce ones, and I think Joe Marler was forced to kind of apologise and almost, take his statement back, really.
Teams have chosen to turn their backs on it and stuff like that. That's their choice, just like it's New Zealand's choice to do it. It's your choice to either watch it or
part of their heritage,
turn around or whatever.
It's a tradition, a deep tradition that's very important to their players, and I mean,
it gets eyes on it as well. From like your kind of fair weather fans and stuff.
Yeah.
People will know about that, and then maybe get involved and watch the rest of the game. Or
be an interesting little poll. Like if you went round town and just went, "What's this?" How many people would know what that is? Who would not even like rugby fans? Yeah.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's the way I think it's like, for a sport that a lot of the time doesn't get a lot of airtime apart from the the Southerners who watch it and stuff, and it's like rugby union's a very bit of a tough sport, isn't it? So I think.
Well, I went on a YouTube rabbit hole. I'm just watching some of the best hackers and all that. And
some of the best.
Honestly, you can YouTube that some of the best hackers, and then I ended up watching Joanna Lomu's funeral. That's how far I went down the hacker rabbit hole. Mate, you need to go and watch that.
Watch his funeral?
Yeah.
I'm alright, thanks.
They go into Eden Park and all his ex-teammates, and they got schools, they're all doing the hacker. I'm sitting there, Sunday morning, watching the highlights of the rugby game, crying the eyes out to Joanna Lomu's funeral. But the game itself was actually a really close game. It was only 2 points in, and England missed a drop goal or a penalty, I think it was. Yeah, that would have levelled it, but it was a good game. I watched the highlights.
I mean, I said to you off air, I don't want to extend this too much because I know we were on a little bit, but as a fair weather rugby fan, and I know England ran it close there and hit the post, I don't take much pleasure out of watching teams, particularly like England's, just win from kicking. Now, I know it's controversial in the sense that we won the Rugby World Cup in 2003 pretty much from kicking, and that was our game. And proper rugby fans and stuff will say, well, look, that's just the style of play. But again, I enjoy seeing teams attack each other and it being to a certain extent end to end. And I think when you see a game where it's just all scrums and kicking, it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
And I think
just on the tries, New Zealand it was 3-1 to New Zealand,
and therefore I think that's that almost should be seen as a convincing win.
But there was a lot of drop goals and a lot of penalties. Sorry. And last bit, maybe we'll finish on is boxing. So the two big news is Conor Ben's moved closer to a return to boxing after the Independent National Anti-Doping Panel lifted the suspension for 2 failed drug tests in 2022. An Independent National Anti-Doping Panel have said it was not comfortably satisfied that UK AD, what's that, the UK Anti-Doping.
Who the hell are they, by the way? I've never even heard of them. How many different bodies or people in anti-doping? I've never ever heard of them before. Maybe it's because they get brought in when it's like the fifth appeal or something. It's like a human rights type group. But
well, they said they're not
that's the problem. Isn't
they're not comfortably satisfied that UCAD had proved Conor Ben had committed a doping offence ahead of his fight. So the British Board of Boxing Control have yet to confirm whether his licence will be reinstated. It's just for a fair weather boxing fan, which I am, who's ass? Just either fucking ban him for a couple of years or whatever, or let him fight. I just think that's the problem of having so many different bodies, so many different federations, and again, loopholes that people can just duck in and out of. And he's obviously trying his best to clear his name, and he wants to be able to fight wherever he wants, whenever he wants. He obviously wants to be able to fight on the big bills, and he's not able to do that because of whether it's the WBO or IBF or whatever saying we don't recognise it, we recognise it. And I think it's one of the biggest issues, and I think
boxing's had a good time in the last few months because of the Riyadh season stuff and some big fights happening. But you've still got this lingering in the background, isn't it? I think Riyadh season have got a good chance to address this and maybe say, right, we're going to put some money in now. We're going to have one anti-doping, recognised body. Everyone's got to buy into it. The promoters have got to pay into it. This is the testing we recognise, and that's it. Boom, done. Take all of the federations out of it, and if everyone else signs up to it, and the big promoters do, then that's it. End of story.
It's a good point, and I think if anyone's got the money and the power to do it, it's Mr. Turk,
Yeah, and he's done some great stuff, as I say, wherever he stands on it. There's been big fights recently, but I think he'll be conscious, and Riyadh season will be conscious of going, well, that's still a little bit of a, something that he can throw at us, and it's still a dirty little secret, isn't it?
And do you know what? It'll be on Eddie and Frank to actually get together and think, because if they have a big show coming up, and let's say a week before a big show in Saudi, there's one of these
some little snide,
and the whole show he won't be happy, will he?
No, some little tin pot anti-doping doctor comes in and goes, actually I found a trace of
your main fight
in your lungs.
Yeah, your main fight's not happening now. I don't think he'll be happy. So it's on everyone else to kind of, because how long's Turkey going to be throwing stupid money at all these things for?
Yeah.
And then the other thing on boxing is I can't say name, Amorim Khalif. She was, or depending on who you are, he was the boxer who won gold amid a gender eligibility row, where she's now taken action over media reports in France, allegedly detailing her leaked medical records. So all this stuff was going on, and someone's leaked it, basically saying that she has got XY chromosomes.
That was the one she's got mentioned on here, wasn't it? Where was that reported?
Yeah, and she's got balls apparently. So this is the leaked report.
I don't remember seeing a report that she had testicles, but
that's what.
Let's see the XY chromosomes.
You don't know what's real and what's not being analogy.
We don't know
on the internet all this, but the AI and Photoshop. But anyway, she's clearly.
I seen a picture of her having a wee behind a bush.
Check out the
fan that she's got.
It was like that one that used to be on Serena Williams. It was one of where she's clutching down and just a pair of bollocks hanging.
Oh, James Rodriguez, the James Rodriguez had the sniff, or literally as a tickle.
Yeah, it's fucking mad. The internet's crazy.
And he literally the next day or something, because it was going around the internet, he's like that with his shorts pulled up with it.
Oh, he's sort of like a dresser in his own way. Well, clearly, joking aside, it's been a big thing for her. I mean, as it would be if you're a woman and everyone's got here a bloke, you wouldn't be happy. No. And she's come out now, and anyway, she's taking legal action. And maybe she might take legal action against us, I don't know.
Yeah, watch out, mate.
Wouldn't be bad for PR, I'm saying that now. We're not be fucking living on the streets next year now. We're not being sued by her, but...
I don't think she goes down the same kind of rabbit holes that you do, on
probably
YouTube.
No, probably not. She's got bigger fish to fry, but yeah, she's taking legal action, and watch this space again.
Take her plums as well.
She will get deaf at once. And on that note, what a bombshell. I think that's it. Amorim Khalif's got fucking more balls than me. See you next week. Done.